Chosen one, stop scrolling. Heaven just interrupted your day for a reason. You're sitting with your coffee. Maybe checking the news. Maybe just trying to escape it. Scrolling without thinking. Without expecting anything meaningful. And then this, a quiet interruption. No flashing lights. No dramatic music. Just a whisper that cuts through the noise. What if this moment isn't random? What if something in the unseen just reached out on purpose, not for everyone, just for you? You've been carrying a lot lately. You've pushed through things no one even knows about. You've smiled when you didn't feel like it. You've stayed faithful when you didn't see results. And maybe, just maybe, heaven saw all of that. And today, without warning, heaven decided to respond. This isn't a video. It's an appointment. Not one you scheduled, but one you were meant to keep. Because sometimes, God doesn't knock loudly. He nudges softly, right when you're ready to give up, right when you've stopped asking for answers. And it starts like this, a pause, a moment that pulls you in, a voice that isn't yelling but still somehow speaks straight to your soul. So here's the question. What if this interruption is the invitation you didn't know you needed? Not to fix everything, not to give you all the answers, but to remind you, God is still near, still watching, still working, and He hasn't forgotten you, not even for a second. Stay with me. You're about to hear something that just might change how you see everything. While you were living your routine, heaven made a move you didn't see but will soon feel. You didn't wake up expecting anything different. Just another day. Just another scroll. But behind the scenes, something irreversible has begun. Think of it like this. You're sorting through your inbox junk, ads, noise. Then one message stops you. It's not from a person, it's from God, and it's already marked delivered. God doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He moves in ordinary moments like this one, right now, while you're sitting here. He's initiated a shift, not hype, not emotion, a real, divine upgrade. It won't scream for attention, but soon you'll feel it. The weight you used to carry lighter, the fear that used to speak loudly, quieter. Something inside you has quietly changed. This is how God works. He moves first, reveals later. And this shift, it's not a reward, it's grace. Because God saw something in you, not the polished version, but the real one, the tired one, the unsure one. And He whispered, "It's time." So no, this isn't just a normal moment. You didn't stumble on this message by chance. Heaven is doing something in your life right now. You may not see it yet, but soon you'll look back on this day and realize this is when everything quietly began to change. What felt like denial was divine setup, not rejection, preparation. We don't like waiting. We don't like when the door doesn't open, when the call doesn't come, when the prayer doesn't get the answer we hoped for. It feels like being overlooked, like maybe we missed something, like maybe God forgot. But what if the silence wasn't neglected? What if it was intentional? Think about Joseph, sold by his brothers, thrown into a pit, then into slavery, then into prison. He did nothing wrong, no rebellion, no failure. He was faithful, loyal, and honest. Still, he was forgotten. Years passed in that prison. Years, and yet, God was not punishing him. God was preparing him, because the palace wasn't ready yet. The Pharaoh's dream hadn't come. The famine hadn't started. The people weren't desperate. It wasn't time yet. But while Joseph sat in what looked like delay, God was installing something inside of him. Humility, wisdom, patience, authority. Things you can't download overnight. Things that have to be lived, learned, carried, and when the time came, Joseph walked out of prison into purpose in one day. That's what divine delay looks like. Now, zoom out from Joseph's story and look at your own. The job you lost, the person who left, the door that slammed shut. It didn't make sense then. It hurt. You may have even asked God why he let it happen. But maybe it wasn't punishment. Maybe it was an installation, like a system update happening in the background. You're still going through your day, but under the surface, things are changing. Code is being rewritten. Old errors are being fixed. New capacity is being added. You don't see it happening, but the system knows, and when it's ready, you'll see the difference too. Delay is not always denial. Sometimes, it's a divine download. God doesn't waste time, even when it feels wasted to us. He uses silence to speak. He uses waiting to prepare. He's not just getting the promise ready for you. He's getting you ready for the promise. Because if he gave it too early, you might sabotage it. You might not recognize it. Or worse, you might think it came from your own strength. But when you've been through the fire, when you've been hidden for a while, when you've wrestled with disappointment and still chosen to believe you're not the same anymore, you're deeper, quieter, stronger. And that's exactly the version of you that can carry what's coming. So if you're in a season that feels slow, painful, invisible, don't despise it. This is where roots grow. This is where the foundation gets poured. This is where you become the person your future is praying for. Joseph didn't know that Pharaoh would call his name. He didn't see the throne waiting on the other side of the prison. All he saw was the inside of a dark room and the passing of time. But God saw the full picture, and God sees yours too. What feels like rejection might be a redirect. What looks like stillness might be strategy. What feels like delay might be heaven's perfect preparation. You're not stuck. You're not forgotten. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Let that truth settle into you. This is not the end. It's the setup. It started with silence. She prayed for her husband to live. She believed in a miracle, and when the miracle didn't come, she didn't just lose him, she lost her hope. 2, grief can do that. It doesn't just break your heart. It rewrites your thoughts. It whispers things like, God didn't hear you. Faith doesn't work. You're on your own now, but quietly, over time. God began to do something deeper. Not in her circumstances, but in her thinking. She didn't get answers. but she started asking different questions. She didn't feel joy, but she stopped expecting joy to look like it used to. She learned to hope again, not for everything to go back to how it was, but for God to meet her in how it is. This is what Romans 12:2 is talking about. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, not the changing of your surroundings, but the changing of your perspective. God doesn't always remove the storm, but He can upgrade how you think inside of it, like updating your operating system. He installs a new way of seeing one that believes again, even after disappointment. One that trusts, not because everything makes sense, but because He's still good, even when it doesn't. A renewed mind doesn't erase the past, but it sees the future differently. She still remembers the pain, but now she also remembers the peace that somehow found her in the middle of it. And maybe that's where your upgrade begins too, not in the fixing of everything around you, but in the quiet reworking of how you think within. Because when your mind is transformed, your whole life starts to shift. He lost his job at 55. No warning, no backup plan. Just a box of his things, a quiet goodbye, and a flood of questions that followed him home. He applied everywhere. He prayed. And when nothing opened, he started to wonder if God had closed the door for good. But then, something unexpected happened. A friend asked him to teach a Bible study at a small church down the road. Just one Sunday, just to fill in. He said yes, not because he felt qualified, but because he didn't know what else to do. That one Sunday turned into 2, then a month, then a calling he never saw coming. It wasn't the job he prayed for, but it became the purpose he was made for. In 2 Kings 6, verse 17, Elisha prayed for his servant's eyes to be opened, not so God would do something new, but so he could see what was already there. Heaven's army had been surrounding them the whole time. The servant just couldn't see it. That's what a vision upgrade looks like. Not a change in what's around you, but a change in how you see it. God didn't open new doors for that man right away. He opened his eyes, and what looked like an ending was actually an assignment. Maybe God's not late. Maybe He's already working just in a way you haven't seen yet. Sometimes the miracle isn't the job, or the breakthrough, or the quick fix. Sometimes the miracle is vision. So if it feels like nothing's changing, ask God to help you see what's already there. Because once your eyes are opened, everything looks different. They could have walked away. 20 years earlier, a betrayal had broken everything. Trust shattered, promises undone. They stayed married on paper, but their hearts lived miles apart. Every conversation was safe, surface level. They raised kids, paid bills, went to church, but never really healed. Then one night, in total silence, they both came to the same decision. What if we tried again? Not just to survive, but to forgive and rebuild. It wasn't easy. Forgiveness never is. But step by step, grace by grace, they began to move toward each other. And over time, God did what only He can do, restore what felt unrepairable. That's what it looks like to walk by faith. In Matthew 14:29, Jesus tells Peter, "Come," and Peter steps out of the boat, not because the water was safe, not because it made sense, but because Jesus was standing on it. Sometimes faith isn't about believing harder, it's about moving anyway. Even when it hurts, even when the risk feels too big. Faith doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's quiet obedience. A phone call, an apology, a second chance. God isn't just upgrading how you think or how you see. He's upgrading how you move. Because real transformation shows up in how you treat people, how you respond when it's hard, how you step out of what's comfortable and into what's holy. That couple didn't get a miracle moment. They got miraculous momentum. And it started with one decision to walk by faith even when the past still echoed. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to look at Him and take the first step. Heaven's timeline isn't always marked in years. Sometimes, everything shifts in a day. We're used to waiting. We count in months, in milestones, in someday. But what if God doesn't need that kind of time? What if breakthrough doesn't come slowly but suddenly? In Joshua 3:5, God tells His people, "Consecrate yourselves. For tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you, not next year, not once you've figured everything out. Tomorrow." But notice what comes first. Before the amazing things comes preparation. Before the move comes the moment of surrender. God was about to split a river. But first, He asked for their hearts. Because tomorrow in heaven doesn't just depend on the clock, it depends on posture. It depends on readiness. It depends on whether you're holding on to something that you're being called to release. So let me ask you, what are you still gripping? What weight have you carried for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to walk free? Maybe today isn't about solving everything. Maybe it's about letting go of one thing. A fear, a grudge, a need for control, a secret shame, whatever it is. You don't have to carry it into tomorrow. Because when God says He's about to move, He's not asking for perfection, He's asking for space. He wants your hands open, your heart soft. Your spirit is willing. He can do more in 24 hours than you've seen in 24 months. But the miracle begins with surrender. So don't wait for the perfect conditions. God moves in faith, not formulas, and maybe, just maybe. What He's preparing to release tomorrow is waiting on what you're willing to release today. He was 60 years old when everything fell apart. A successful career, a growing business, respected in his community. Then the pandemic hit. First, it was temporary closures. Then the clients disappeared. Then the business he had built for 30 years was gone. He tried to hold it together. I tried to stay positive. But as the months dragged on, so did the silence from clients, from friends, from God. He found himself sitting in his living room one morning, jobless, uncertain, and more alone than he'd ever been. That's when he started praying again, not with fancy words, not even with much faith, just a simple whisper, "God." What now? He didn't hear a voice, no lightning bolt. But a few weeks later, a friend reached out and said, "We need someone to lead an online Bible study. Would you consider it?" He almost said no. He didn't feel qualified. He didn't feel strong. But something inside nudged him to say yes. That yes changed everything. He started with 10 people on a Zoom call. The 20, then 50, now, every week. He teaches scripture to people from across the country, many of them elderly, lonely, hungry for hope. He never went back to his old job. But he found something richer, more purposeful, more eternal. Sometimes, God doesn't restore what was lost because He's leading you to something better, something different, something aligned with who you're becoming. This is what an upgrade can look like. Not more, not louder, not bigger. Just right. Right place, right time, right assignment. If you feel like everything familiar has fallen away, don't panic. God may not be punishing you. He may be positioning you. Because when you say yes, even in weakness, God can use it to reach people you never imagined in ways you never expected. Oudangster, before you go, take a moment. Let this not just be a message, but a turning point. You've heard about the upgrade. You've felt it stirring. But here's the truth. God never forces transformation. He invites it, and all it takes is a simple yes. So wherever you are right now, pause. Close your eyes. Place your hand over your heart. And pray with me, Lord. I release the old. I release the fear, the shame, the control. I receive the new, a new mind, a new vision, a new way of walking with you. Upgrade me from within, not by my strength, but by your grace. Amen. This is not about perfection. It's about surrender. You are not alone in this. There are thousands walking the same road, saying the same prayer, trusting the same God. And the upgrade He begins in you today. He will be faithful to complete. Stay open. Stay ready. Because what's coming is greater than what's been. And you, chosen one, were never forgotten.